Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still in 1985 right now with our wrestling reviews. Of course, you know I'm Gunner. This is Smidge, and today we've already done the first two Starcades. Now we're making the switch over. WWE WrestleMania 1, 1985. It's here. So it happened in New York, and 19,000 people went and saw this match. 19,121. I will say this: it was definitely a pretty decent pay-per-view. 9 matches. I'll get into my overall rating soon. So it was definitely good to see the WWF out here with a pay-per-view. You saw the difference in the production. It was good to see. The opening matchup, we saw Tito Santana step in there with the Executioner. That being said, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good opening match. I think it was pretty obvious to a lot of people who was going to win. Tito Santana hit his little flying burrito, and we saw Tito Santana go ahead with the victory. Tito Santana took it home to open up the first match of WrestleMania history.
So I have to give it a 3. I have to give it a 4. Just because it was a great match in general. But I just have to say something to everybody in general. People who are libertarians, they're not racist. But when the WWE makes someone have a finishing move called the flying burrito, and you just see past it and go, well, that's not racist, I don't know what is. Well, it was a great match off that subject, but it was still a great match. I liked the match in general. I actually thought the Executioner was going to win based on how he was hyped up being undefeated. It was a great match, 4-star.
Yep, definitely was. Yeah, the WWE did do some racist shit, and still does. It's just some of the shit that they do. Anyways, with that being the case, let's move on to match number 2, in which we had the quickest match in WrestleMania history for quite many years. And I give it a 1-star as King Kong Bundy with Jimmy Hart came out and beat Special Delivery Jones in, what was it, 8 seconds? What was it?
Yeah, 8 seconds.
8 seconds. It was pretty quick. You know, if I was Special Delivery Jones, I'd be kind of pissed that he didn't get more of a... well, it depends on what the check was. But he definitely got no play when it comes to WrestleMania. King Kong Bundy was made to look like a monster. And it was for good reason, as we saw next up in WrestleMania 2. But without a shadow of a doubt, quick match. I can't give it above a 1-star. All it basically was a splash, 2 splashes, and that was it. And with that being the case, what's your thoughts?
I have to give it a 0 star. I just can't rate the match as just a bad match. I know they were trying to make King Kong Bundy look like a monster, but at least if you did draw out the match a little longer, a splash and then a pin, I can't do that. I have to give it a 0 star.
Absolutely. Ricky Steamboat in the next match. He's here from the NWA. Ricky Steamboat defeats Matt Bourne pretty handedly. I give it a 3-star. It was a good match, but Matt Bourne really didn't step it up, so Ricky Steamboat really didn't have that competitive of a match like Ricky Steamboat can have. So it wasn't the best debut WrestleMania for Ricky Steamboat, but 3 stars. I'll give him average.
I have to give it a 3-star too. Just because it was a good match.
Stay in the motherfucking video, man.
It was a good match, and I just like to see it was competitive, but like he said, it wasn't as competitive as Ricky Steamboat can get. Because I've seen matches with Ricky Steamboat from other pay-per-views, such as WrestleMania 3, which was a competitive match. But this match, I know, just wasn't as competitive as I thought it would be.
Great. Next up, we had the son of the legendary Bruno Sammartino, David Sammartino, come out with Bruno Sammartino. And he wrestled to a double disqualification with Brutus Beefcake, who had Johnny Valiant with him. I kind of didn't understand the point of this. You know, I don't understand with David Sammartino's name why they didn't try to push him a little bit, but they didn't. Probably because of the shit that was going on with them and Bruno. But then again, this kind of put fuel on the fire. David Sammartino, double disqualification, no wins here. I didn't really like the finish for it being WrestleMania. I give it 2 stars.
I have to give it a 1, just because I never like to see a match end up in a double disqualification. I just hate to see a disqualification match unless it actually makes sense. This didn't make sense to see Bruno Sammartino fight the other manager. I would always thought if the referee would have been down, yeah, it would have made a little bit more sense, but he wasn't. I liked the match, but I just didn't like how it ended. But the match, if it didn't end that way, it would have been a 2-star, like he said.
Right.
And I also think David Sammartino should have had a push his family legacy and possibly make him another long reigning champ. But I just never happened.
It was there of Hogan. They weren't going to do that at all. Next up, we had the Intercontinental title. Junkyard Dog came out to step in the ring with the champion, Greg Valentine, another former NWA'er. He had Jimmy Hart in his corner, of course. Greg Valentine was able to retain the title because Junkyard Dog won by countout. With Steamboat and Valentine, I'm really surprised. These are two of the guys I referred to when I said the WWE did not push the right people at the right times. These guys were legendary in the NWA. And then they come to the WWE and not so much. I didn't really like it. At the end, I didn't like it. Another match in and out, kind of fucked up. A count out. So with that being the case, Junkyard Dog got the win, but did not win the title. Greg Valentine, still the champ, even though it's WrestleMania. I gave it 3 stars.
I have to give it a 2-star. It was a good match. Like I said, I don't like matches in a disqualification or count out. And I also have to agree with them 100% on how they did it in the NWA. Because I just remember seeing 1983 Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine in a dog collar match. Great match. That was a 5-star match in itself. But then you bring him over to WWE. He still did something like he won an Intercontinental Championship. Well, I could say the same thing for Ricky Steamboat, but that's all they really did. They were an Intercontinental Champion, but I do have to say something. The Intercontinental Champion at least meant something back then.
Yep, so. I agree. Next up, we had the Tag Team Championships as Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo defended the titles. They had Lou Albano in their corner. They defended them against Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. Definitely a great tag team at that stage and time. And Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik was able to win the championship. They walked away tag team champions. I actually loved the match. Gave it 4 stars. It was good to see. I love Barry Windham. I love the Sheik. I love all of them, man. So it was good to see. 4 stars. Excellent tag team title match. Thumbs up for that one.
I actually have to rate it higher than you. I have to go with the 5-star, just how the match was set and how good the match was. I like to see the new champions, the Un-Americans, win the title. It was just a great thing to see. I loved how the tag team division actually had meaning back then. It was great.
Absolutely. Moving on, man, we had the $15,000 body slam match. Andre the Giant did get the win over Big John Studd, who had Bobby Heenan in his corner. I thought it was an excellent build-up to the match. And I understand it wasn't the best wrestling match. And I know all you wrestling purists are going to be disgusted at what I'm about to say. But I'm going to give it 4 stars. And the reason is because of its meaning. What it meant and the story build-up. I thought it was excellent in that. I understand it's not a technical wrestling match. I understand that. But to me, I loved seeing it. It was actually my main event on the card. You know what I'm saying? I understand the Hogan. I hate main events that are tag team matches. So to me, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, body slam match was the main event of WrestleMania 1. So I'll give it 4 stars.
I have to agree with you. The story behind it was great. Nice to see Bobby the Brain Heenan, who eventually became Andre the Giant's manager, come out with Big John Studd. I like to see how the story behind it. I have to give it a 4-star also. It was also a great match. I just loved it. The story behind it. I also like to see Andre getting the big win.
Absolutely. It was pretty cool how they did the money at the end. Not too bad. Next up, we had the women's title. We had Wendy Richter and Leilani Kai step in the ring. Leilani Kai was the champ. Wendy Richter ended up winning the title. Fabulous Moolah was in Leilani Kai's corner. So, and Cyndi Lauper was in Wendy Richter's corner. Wendy Richter got the win. It was crazy because later on, it wasn't too long after this, that Wendy Richter and the WWE had some problems from a screw job, the original screw job, happened in Madison Square Garden. Kind of involved Wendy Richter and Fabulous Moolah. But anyways, at the end of the day, not bad. I thought it was great. in terms of a women's championship match. I thought they did well. But at the end of the day, I still can only give it 3 stars. I don't really like to watch bitches wrestle, women wrestle, sorry. And I don't really like to see it. And so 3 stars, I'll give it average.
I have to give it a 3.5, just because back then you didn't have to be the best model to be a women's champion. You actually had to wrestle to be a women's champion and not be a model. I like to see it, but then again, I'm not all into the women's wrestling matches, but it was still a good match.
Not bad. Next up, main event. We had special referee enforcer Muhammad Ali. Pat Patterson was also there. We had Hulk Hogan and Mr. T with Jimmy Snuka in the corner. Defeat Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff with the Cowboy Bob Orton in the corner. Excellent main event. You had to love the usage of Muhammad Ali. This is where they all got started. And of course, the WWE has to use celebrities. It's just what they do. So we later saw this same scenario play out almost with Mike Tyson later. But it was definitely good to see. I thought in the end, it made Hulk Hogan look good. I just don't really understand how we can have a pay-per-view, first WrestleMania, and not have a WWE Championship or WWF Championship match at the time. You know, I've always disagreed with that. I don't understand the meaning of this match, even though they had history, a great build-up. How do you go have the first WrestleMania and you do not have a WWF Championship match? For that, I only gave it 3 stars. I wasn't that interested in it. And this overall caused me to give the pay-per-view well, I gave it 4 stars, but I really was not impressed with WrestleMania 1. Yes, it was big. It was magical. But I don't think WrestleMania 1 beat, really, Starrcade 1. Maybe Starrcade 2, maybe, but I don't really know. I don't know if there's any match on WrestleMania 1 that can compete with Tully Blanchard and Steamboat at Starrcade 2 or Flair and Rhodes at Starrcade 2. So overall, I don't know, man, but I'll give it 4 stars since it became the biggest event in pro wrestling. Because of this, WrestleMania is the Super Bowl. So I'll give it 4 stars simply for that. But I'm tempted to give it 3 stars.
I have to give this match I have to give it a 3 star, just because I didn't like to see the tag team match in the main event. Like he was saying, that it should have been a WWE Championship match. I could see if you could have it where Hulk Hogan versus the opponent for the WWE Champion with the managers, with 2 managers instead of a tag team match and a manager. I think that would have been fit better. Then you would have the WWF Championship match, have Hulk Hogan win it, then you don't have your story behind it. But it really didn't. I liked the match, I just didn't like the story behind the match.
I absolutely understand. I agree. What are your overall thoughts on the pay-per-view, the first WrestleMania?
I have to give it a 3.
Okay.
It just the first one, I just don't think they had it all set out yet. Their plans wasn't as big as it is now, but it was still good. And I see how they built up WrestleMania, but I still have to get a 3 just because of the contents of the match.
Absolutely, absolutely. With that said, you know, this is Smidge and Gunner. We're definitely glad to bring you guys these reviews. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what y'all think, you know what I'm saying, about these wrestling pay-per-views. What did you think about WrestleMania 1? Was it worth the hype? Was it better than either Starrcade? Let me know what your thoughts are. Holla at us, man. This is Gunner, Smidge, we out.